got a new wrap for Bristol, and Clay doesn't know about it yet, so just getting the car out. We're going to bring Clay back and show him the new wrap for this weekend. Tribute to Dalton, which is pretty badass. Alright guys, we are in the lanes for Q1 here in Bristol. Got the new wrap on the car. We're going to run against Anton Brown here. It's a lot warmer today than it's going to be on race day, and so hopefully we just go A to B and get qualified well and get some information tomorrow, because it's going to be a lot cooler tomorrow by like 20 degrees. Alright, so here we go. We've been in the lanes for, I don't know, an hour and a half. It's dark now. They've had some computer issues and things, but we are now going to make a run, and it's down to like 70 degrees, so it ought to be quick this evening. We've made several pulley changes to change overdrive for the temperature, so here we go.
Very special wrap car this weekend. Stomp on a lot better car. It is in tribute. His late son, Dalton, who was a monster truck driver. Those of you who follow other fans of motorsport, I'm sure you're familiar with the story of course, this Chrysler.
Alright guys, so Wesley Bateman asked, is nitro lighter than gas? No, it is not lighter than gas. It's actually much heavier. I think gas is a little over 6 pounds per gallon, and nitro is pushing 10 pounds a gallon. Just ask Clay to arm wrestle you. He's been hauling these little 5-gallon jugs around that weigh about 15 to 20 pounds more than a gas jug. So we ain't messing around. It weighs a lot more, and that's why you can create so much energy with it. Alright guys, Bjorn Johnson asked, how does the wheel sensor mounted on the car? It's right here up on the front wheel on the passenger side, if it had a passenger side, but you see it mounted right there, and then you see that we got these little screws put into the wheel, so it picks that up, and it's just a wheel counter, and then the computer does the rest. But pretty simple, not that difficult. Alright guys, here in Bristol we are in the lanes for Q2. Last night went really well. We were our 4th qualifier overall with a 374 after the late session because they had some issues. So we're going to be second to last pair in the left lane again. Hopefully just go A to B. A lot of weather variables today. It rained this morning. They had to scrape the track. So we'll see what we can do. It's asking a lot to get A to B with how many changes have happened. So let's see how this session goes. Alright guys, we are in the lanes for Q3. Q2 went really well. We ran a 70 and clicked it off a little early, so that's really happy with that. We got one more. It's actually gotten cooler today. It's sunny out now, but the temperature dropped a bit. Clay's already in the car, buckled up, ready to roll. I think we're fourth pair and see what we can do. So David Woolard asked what was the lifespan of one of our axles. Well, one, we only have one axle. It's a through axle, and this is it, and they are massive, as you could probably hope. We'll give a little frame of reference. There's my fist, how big the hollow tube axle is. Anyways, the lifespan is years, actually. This is one thing that takes the punishment really well and doesn't really get beat up. You can go several seasons on an axle until something happens to it. So that's about it. Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning, race day in Bristol. That third qualifier, we shook pretty hard and caused a little bit of damage to the car that we had to repair last night, but all's good. Getting some heat in it. It's pretty cold out here this morning. It's like 50 degrees. I think it was 44 when we got here. Anyways, putting some heat in the motor, getting ready to warm it up. We'll see if we can't turn on 4 wind lights today. Alright, so Doug Texas asked, how long does a set of headers last? Well, we go through 3 or 4 sets a season, and we weld them up several times during the season, so not as long as you would think, but they just take a lot of abuse from the heat and the pressure and all of that, so they crack and we re-weld them, and they crack and we re-weld them until they just can't re-weld them anymore, and then we get another pair. But usually on average we go through 3 or 4 sets a season.
Top fuel round 1, getting ready to blast off on an 80. That is 80. Your 7th foul part of performance, that's a dead heat. But then the difference, saw a little flash, or at least I did, out of a Capco car closing in on the finish line. The difference is 227.
All right, guys. Wow, a week from Vegas, a week after Bristol. Unfortunately, we didn't. We made it one round in Bristol and got beat by Salinas, who eventually won the event in Bristol. Car was running good, not hurting itself, so kind of optimistic for the next 2 events, but we just can't quite seal the deal. The car's going pretty damn fast. Just, you know, one of these things to win isn't that easy. Anyways, we got Vegas in a week, and then Pomona, and the season's over. I thought I'd answer a couple more questions tonight and then get this video up. I'm a little late.
one of the questions I get a lot is how can you get on a top fuel team and can you make enough money to actually earn a living and all of those things. Best way to get on a top fuel team if you don't have any experience is have a CDL. CDL drivers are in high demand everywhere, and they're in high demand in our sport. And it's a good way to get an interview with a team. And then if you've got any mechanical ability, you can get taught most of the rest. And yeah, if you're a full-time crew member at the crew, where the car is located and driving the semi from town to town and stuff like that, I made decent money doing that. And you can make a living at it, and you can make a career out of it. You're just gone a lot, and I had some other issues. So everybody knows that I work 2 jobs, and so that might be why they think, can you do it full time? Yeah, you absolutely can do it full time. I work 2 jobs because I only fly in, so I get paid for the weekends I fly in, and I get paid by my regular job. So that's a little bit, my situation's unique, so to speak. There's guys that do it part-time that do it like I do. There's not a whole lot of guys on full-time teams that fly in and out, but there's a few. Aside from the fact of crew chiefs and car chiefs, but most crew personnel. But absolutely, best way to get a job, have a CDL, get to a race, come to the pits with a resume. You can usually talk to somebody that'll take it from different teams. The big teams usually have a website and an employment channel there. You can go and visit that. There's lots of ways that if you've got some ability and some want to, but you got to sacrifice a lot. You're not going to be home much. You're going to need to leave home and live either in Brownsburg or wherever the team's located for the most part, Springfield, Illinois, McLeansville, Illinois, things of that nature. Another question I'd answer is from Trip Rogers out of Coeur d'Alene, who likes to troll me over on Clay's channel. He asked if we had all the money that we'd want, could we get a Wally for Stringer's Mantle and run a 361. I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to say if we had a lot more money, I think that gives you a parts cycle that allows you to be more consistent with the car, and I think we would win a Wally a little bit easier that way. A 361, that's asking a lot. I don't know if we're there yet as a sport. I don't know. I mean, I realize they ran a 62 with I think a 5. That's 500-600s more, but it don't come very easy. You got to have the absolute right weather conditions, and you got to have the best equipment at the right time, and I don't know if the cars are capable of that yet. I'm sure there is crew chiefs out there that would tell me, oh yeah, it's absolutely capable, but I know that's getting it, and it doesn't happen very often. A 62 was ran once over a year ago, and before that it was a year. So I mean, it's a very special thing that can happen, and we're pushing the limits of all the technology. But I'm sure at some point it'll get broke. Something will change. We'll find some little thing. Something will happen. But to answer his question, yes and no. I think more money would definitely help us with a Wally win, and we would definitely do it. But running a 61 is a big ask. Anyways, thanks everybody. Like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and I'll keep the videos coming and answer a bunch more questions in Vegas. Hopefully we've got some good weather, and we can hammer down and turn on some wind lights. Thanks again. Appreciate y'all.